Hello, everybody, and welcome to another DK podcast. And I'm joined by Terence Mentor, and I was very, very, very okay, wait, hold on, let me say that again. Last week, was it last week? Okay, the other day when I appeared on your podcast show and you grilled me like I haven't been grilled ever. It was like the Spanish Inquisition.
Oh, it
But
wasn't that
you
tough, was
asked
it?
the you asked question. Usually, like everyone tries to make you feel comfortable, and you just like started with, does marketing work? Do agencies work? And I was like, oh yeah. I was
But
defending
despite
every
that,
agency.
you did so well. I could not bamboozle you. I thought I could throw a hand grenade into the interview, and you just threw it right back at me,
With my
and it
tennis
was
racket.
yes, yeah, exactly.
It's not us,
And
it's the client, shitty
yes, exactly.
clients.
And but look out for SEO agencies. Keep an eye out for them. But everything else is great. I thought you gave such a mature and obviously incredibly experienced selection of answers.
Oh, thank
So
you.
so I'm so looking forward to
Well,
seeing like as the people start to listen to that episode.
yeah, no, they
Uh,
were very good questions. They were soul searching. And yeah, if so, guys, if you didn't catch it, check out the links below. We're going to link to it. So Terence, we've got you, and I did have to ask you, have you made up your name? Is that like a genuine name? Were you born with that name, or is that some nominative determinism in play?
well, I have a birth certificate to prove that this was my given name and the name of my parents as well, the mentor side of it. And I'm not sure if it is just a case of, my surname's mentor, so I like to
So you
encourage
became
people.
a mentor?
I became a mentor in some ways.
And so many people asking you, but are you a mentor? And you were like, I may as well be because
Yeah, since you're
then I
looking
can
at me
easily
anyway, let me just do it.
let me help you with your life.
Well, let me try to help you with your life and give you advice that I never take myself, but it's good for you.
It's much easier to tell people what to do than to do it yourself or
Yes.
but actually I've realized most people don't really want advice. They just want you to hear their moan.
Yeah,
You
they
just need
most
to
people know
listen.
what and I know for myself as well, whenever I try to get advice from someone, most of it is stuff that I knew already, and I always end up leaving going, "Ugh, okay, I actually have to do the hard thing that I was hoping they would say I wouldn't have to do." But normally it means you just have to work a bit harder about whatever your
Yeah.
goals are. Yeah.
No, look, I did some life coaching for a while, and I must say it really, really was helpful. Really, really helpful. Just phrasing the problem in a slightly different way. Like, I don't have any friends here in Germany, and nobody wants to invite me out to, oh, amazing. I have so much me time. What would I like to do with my me time? I was like, oh,
Oh,
this is a
clever.
new
Okay.
approach. Yeah.
So
So
but that's what you need sometimes is a different set of eyes and ears to reassess what the actual core
I
problem
think
is.
so. I think so. Just to ask you the hard questions that
Mhm.
you're avoiding. Okay, Terence, with no further ado, for those who don't know you, do you want to quickly give us your elevator pitch?
Sure, I'm Terence Mentor. I'm a digital marketer who likes to focus on strategy and big picture thinking. My current claim to fame is being the host of the South African Digital Marketing Podcast. And the real goal of that is to expand the kind of conversations we're having about digital marketing in general, specifically, but marketing in general in South Africa.
So do you subscribe to the Scott Galloway emails? And if you don't, you
I
should.
I
Yes.
try to I subscribe to so many things that I end up not reading any of it, and that's one of the
These
big.
I read. They are like they're on another level. And I'll send you his recent one where he actually speaks about podcasting and how it was podcasting that won the election for the
Mm.
US. That it's the channel most listened to by the young male demographic in the US and how podcasting won the election. So
Well, I'm male. I'm not sure how young I am anymore, but I do
young,
fit
good
into that.
looking,
Oh, stop it!
intelligent male.
Somewhere there's a couple of truths and a couple of lies mixed in
Take
there. But
just
I do
take it.
think I'll take it. I do think podcasts is a great way to have conversations with people that I know I might not seem it, but I'm incredibly shy and have a lot of imposter syndrome. So, someone like yourself, for instance, if I didn't have a podcast, just to approach and say, "Hey, can I chat to you for half an hour?"
What are you
You would
talking
probably say
about?
yes. would probably say yes, but I would feel very anxious about that. But having a podcast just kind of allows me to have really difficult conversations like we had, and I'm
Yes.
sure we're about to have, in a way that's kind of safe and everyone is on the same page and everyone's quite excited to be involved with. So I love listening to podcasts and I love having conversations in this kind of space.
Hmm. Maybe podcasts since Corona and nobody's actually having real conversations. We're listening to other people talking and nobody's
Remotely.
leaving the house. No, 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 that's terrible. So, but let's just quickly talk about podcasting. So, in the B2B space, I always encourage my clients to have podcasts. And we've got clients that we've set up their podcast for them and they've just, they just continue to get engagement. It's like building those, it's like SEO. You create the net, you throw it out in the ocean. It's just always working for you. It's like video. You spend the money, you make some video, you put it up on YouTube, and it's always fishing for you. It's not an asset that you measure once. It's an asset
Hmm.
that you continue to measure. So for you, what would you say to somebody who's like, I don't know, I don't think my business needs a podcast, or what would you say about podcasting and B2B
I
marketing?
would I would say when it comes to owning a conversation, having own media where you own the conversation, that is easier to produce than any other kind of content and any kind of media. It's cheaper
Yeah.
than video. It's less intensive than copy. And where you can have long form conversations, podcast is where it's at, you know. I think because people tend to maybe listen to like the podcasts where hundreds of thousands and millions of people are listening, they
Mm,
don't realize that actually having a podcast that only 50 people listen to is incredibly powerful if
yeah,
it's the right 50 people.
that's true.
Uh, and where are you going to, what other medium will you have where the person's going for a jog and you're in their ears, or
Mm,
they're doing housework and you're in their ears, or they're driving somewhere and you're in their car with them. There's no other medium on the planet where people can consume your messaging safely.
exactly. And you have your own radio station. You're creating your own radio station, basically. It's like
Totally.
video, you're creating your own TV, your own Netflix. As marketers, as brands, we need to approach video and radio as we can have our own Netflix going. Like if you view your content plans as something epic and storytelling-y and actually create like a series and make it really interesting,
Yes.
people will listen.
People will and the thing with podcasts, you're very good on camera. I've had some camera experience as well. So a lot of people maybe at our level are quite comfortable being on camera, but most people are not. Most people, the moment you put a lens in
Right.
front of them, they become
Yes. Cottonmouth.
cardboard cutouts and
Cottonmouth.
yeah, they're worried
Yes.
about what they're saying. But if you have a little microphone surreptitiously somewhere, even just a cell phone recording,
Yeah.
um, not hiding it, but they know that
Yes.
they've been recorded.
In your
Please tell
pocket.
people, yes, please let people know that you're recording them. But just that it's not so in their face, I think
That's
it helps
true.
people be more comfortable
Not
to
everyone
have
has
the
a face for TV, or what do you say, a voice for radio.
Yeah, it takes
Uh,
a bit of training to know how to manage your facial features well while giving
yes,
messaging
yes,
across.
yes. Well, look, I love it because I do the double. So I do the video and I do the audio,
Yes.
and then I've got twice the asset. Then we embed it in the website. It's good for SEO if
Yeah.
if it's up on YouTube. So I mean, it's just like a win all around. So what would you say someone wanting to start a podcast for their brand or for their personal brand, because it's all actually down to personal branding these days, like how are you creating a personal brand as a marketer, as a digital marketer,
Mm.
so as a CEO especially. So what's some tips about that you found, like what are the really what makes a podcast interesting?
So it's like any product, it's the USP, the unique selling point of it. What is your particular expertise? What is the thing that you love to talk about? I'm the kind of person that I can listen to someone talk excitedly about whatever the subject matter is, as long as that person is enthusiastic. So if you are really excited to, like I am, I'm really excited to talk about digital marketing. So, I'll do it for free and I'll do it with whoever wants to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's the like topic that you should really focus in on. And I find that starting there, and then the second point is thinking about the audience as soon as you
Mm,
can is
that's
very
true.
crucial. I do find a lot of people are like, we have to get these messages across and we have to do it in this way,
Yeah,
but the audience doesn't respond to you in that way. They don't care
yeah.
about what the thing you're talking about. So finding the thing that you're interested in and then finding a way to bring that across in an interesting way to your audience is the kind of first place to start before you think
Yeah,
about
yeah.
buying microphones and
Yes.
recording devices and hiring a studio. Get those things knuckled down first.
No, no, I completely agree. Marketing 101.
Yeah.
What are your customers' needs? And then work backwards from there.
Mhm.
What are you trying to sell? And then sort of match the two together in an interesting way. So I found for me with my podcast, I came up with season ideas. And then
Yes.
in each season, I sort of planned, okay, so my very first season one, and I am sort of creating haphazard season one content, even though it's now. And so, but yeah,
It's a bit
there's a
of a
plan.
mix.
It's a bit of a
I
mix.
think sorry, I think for me also is even before all those things, you really got to know what your goal truly is with the podcast. So I'll give you a little bit of behind the scenes. I haven't really told anyone publicly about this with the Asset Digital
I
Marketing
won't tell
podcast.
anyone.
I won't tell anyone. We'll keep it secret. My real thing was I wanted to meet more marketers that I think are really interesting, are really experienced, and I wanted to connect with them.
Mm,
So that was my real goal. So really, if no one ever listens to that podcast, but I've met Dylan,
mm.
I've won.
Yes, that's true.
So I mean, if your goal is, wow, I want to get 1 million listeners, or I want to get this level of impressions, or some other metric, um, that'll affect your production, your content, your styling. Everything will be truly affected by your ultimately big goal. Like, what are you really trying to achieve?
I think that's a really good point. And the goal shouldn't be sales. It shouldn't be customer acquisition.
No,
This is a social channel. It's not a hard sell channel. Most of marketing actually isn't hard sell. I mean,
100%.
yeah.
You have to give some value to the listener, and really, I mean, in a way, it is selling. Sorry, my camera's decided that I'm shouldn't be in focus because of my wrinkles. But you are selling their time. You're trying to sell time to them. You're trying to sell attention to them, or at least you're trying to get them to pay attention. So the only way you get them to pay attention is by giving them some sort of value. Either it's entertaining, or it's educational, or it's super informative, or it's it's a piece of it's a podcast that I can listen to that's exactly 12 minutes long because that's my school run, or whatever it is.
All
You're
right, right,
you're
right,
giving
right.
them
Yeah.
something of value.
I agree with you, and I think that's what that V word, value, is like at the heartbeat of everything we do as a digital agency. Is what I hold my team to. Is are we driving value to the client? And every client has a different metric of what value is, and we need to know what that is, and we need to make sure that we are communicating to them that we're driving value. So understanding what value is actually
Mm,
quite a complex thing, and it means that you have to go back deep into your audiences and have small niche audiences for this topic at least that this topic will drive them back. Anyway,
yeah.
let's segue to paid media, because if we're talking about hard selling and we're talking about sales, paid media, this is really the realm of paid media. And this is also something that you are a bit of an expert in, right?
Oh man, the imposter syndrome in me is desperately shouting, "Don't say
Don't be
yes!" But
humble. Don't be
I will,
humble.
I will. I've been doing this kind of thing for a long time, so I have some experience. I have a decent amount of experience. Yes, I'm an expert. Okay, I'll take it.
You're a pro. You're a pro. Take it. Take it. Look, I get CVs from people who've been working 2 years and they want to earn like 30, 40,000 rand a month. And I'm like, listen, if you can get 30, 40,000 rand and you've been, working for 2 years, do it.
Yeah,
That's
good.
amazing. Like not
That's
with
impressive.
us, but yeah, not with us, but more power to you. So so if you've got anything over 5 years digital marketing experience, you can, wear that
You can you
expert
can
hat
you
with
can you can
confidence.
classify you can classify yourself as an expert. Fantastic.
You're an
I'll
expert.
take it.
Yeah. So what would you say is a good way to start your paid media strategy?
Wow. Okay. So finding out what is the budget?
You're
From
good.
from the very beginning. I know it seems really silly, but I've been in situations where you think of this fantastic creative idea, you've got everything locked down of, we're going to these channels, we're putting out, we've segmented our target audience in these ways, and then you find out that, the budget that you're thinking you're working with is actually 10% of what you actually have. So I think knowing what you actually have to play with is crucial. And then, like we've been talking about previously, like understanding your what your product is and deeply understanding your audience.
Yeah.
Really, really understanding that target audience. What are their wants? What are their needs? What is the day in the life of
Mm,
your main target audience members? And obviously the more detailed and segmented you can get, the
mm,
better you can sell to them. The
yeah.
better you can use the channels to target them specifically at the place where they're at.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the first kind of places that I would go to. And then my next step is to be as crazy as possible. Think
Oh,
of the craziest selection of ideas you have. um, be as open and broad-minded as you are. Because again, especially if you're working not in an agency space, if you're working, in a marketing team for an organization, you might feel very um, pushed down a certain way of thinking, especially if you've been there for a long time. So really trying to get out of that space to think of something new and fresh and creative to do, go as crazy as possible, and then have people around you pull you back down to some level of sanity, to the thing that's most workable. Um, because in that craziness, something is going to strike that goes, wait a second, that is a new way of telling that. We've said this message the same way for the last 10 years. That's a
mm,
completely new way of saying it and a completely new way of delivering the same concept to people. Let's go with that. So that's kind of from the creative aspect of paid media.
I love it. So, which is your favorite paid media channel? And I know it's a how long is a piece of string because it depends, it depends, it depends. But what's your favorite paid media channel?
Right now, LinkedIn.
Mm,
I sound like such a corporate shill, but that's because I'm in B2B marketing, and just the level again of specificity you can get when it comes to your targeting of your audience. I hate wasting money on getting the messaging to the wrong people, and I also hate being on the receiving side of that, of
yeah,
getting some paid ads and going, what do I care about something that's happening in the other side of the world, that's an event that in an industry that I have, know nothing about. Why
yeah.
am I getting this ad? I hate that. So LinkedIn offers really good detailed business related targeting. So you're getting it to the right people, and the analytics that you get from that is also quite rich,
Mm,
which can be a little bit of a danger because it means you might end up looking at the wrong metric for success.
yes.
But if you know what you're doing, it means that you're able to kind of look at it very broadly and get a sense of what you should be doing, what changes you should be making. So
What do you think of funnel marketing?
Uh, I understand from a traditional marketing point of view that the concept of the funnel is important. And I think from separating out your activities into a funnel shape is also a useful way of thinking for marketers. I don't think it is the reality of how people engage
Yes.
with marketing. People don't go, okay, well, I'm seeing this broad top level stuff, and then I'm feeling, I'm more interested, and I'm really interested, and now I'm going to make a sale. It's the idea that people are zigzagging and going up and down and across and everywhere. Um, uh, and again, if we just look at our own, um, you know, consumption of these kinds of
Mm,
marketing things, I am not slowly going down any funnel
yes.
anywhere. I
Linear.
am, yeah, it's not linear at all. And the fact that like attribution at the moment is really hard to do
Mm,
makes the funnel even harder,
it,
because how do you know
exactly. It all
where
works
the person is?
together. It all
It
works
all works
together.
together.
I'll
Yeah.
see you here. I'll type in there. I get it this in my inbox. I type it there. I see your ad, but I don't click because it takes me somewhere weird. And then I
Yeah.
go down and I see the organic and it all works together.
Yeah, I'm a millennial, so I don't like clicking on stuff that I'm going to buy on my phone. So I have to be at my laptop or my computer to see it. So then I see it for the fourth time when I'm at my computer. Now I remember it. Now I click it. Like it's so complex, and
Yeah.
I think we're because we're living in an age of like numbers and metrics and
Mm.
data, we forget that these are actually people, and human beings are
Yes.
behavioral in their ways, and there's behavioral
Yes.
psychology that goes behind
Yes.
these things that are so complex. I always feel the need to say that like anyone who says they fully understand like a funnel of a
Mm.
human being is lying. There's no way
Yes.
that they
No,
really
no, no.
understand how people buy stuff.
No, I know it's so funny because the one time I was sitting on the train station going to Berlin and I was on Instagram and I got an ad for agency for a library of agency standard operating procedures and I bought it right there on the platform from my phone. And I was like, that is so weird. As an agency, would I have thought, I don't know, like, but it worked. And
Yes,
I just
there's
right
there's
there,
gonna
the offer was
yeah
right, the message was right, everything was clear. It was literally this perfection. And I bought them and
at
I
the right
haven't used
time.
them once.
There's some marketing manager out there who is baffled by that. There's a number in front of them that's like someone clicked purchase on the link on the
So
Instagram
yeah,
ad, and we can see from like the location that it was like in the middle.
exactly.
Where is this person from? Why? What's going on? Yeah. So you've ruined someone's day by
I
making
know.
that
They're like,
purchase.
oh, the data is so messed up. How am I going to explain this to the client? But the client doesn't mind because
The
people
cli-
are buying the thing and
yeah,
not
yeah.
using it.
The
That's fine.
the money is in their account, no matter where you
Yeah,
bought it
yeah,
or
yeah,
how. So
yeah.
yeah.
Because an agency, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've been hit with about 25 of these, click funnel, speaking of like digital funnels and proper like funnel software and that. So offers from companies trying to help me with my appointment setting, and they're basically selling me funnels, digital
Right.
funnels. And we also offer funnels for our clients, but we offer sort of more ecosystem value-based funnels.
Mm.
So that it's not just like this simple thing, because anybody can take a software from the funnel software, like a click funnel or and literally just like apply it and then sell it to you, and there you have it. But I've really gone down this rabbit hole in the last like probably month in really interrogating like messaging that opens the door. What is the
Mm.
kind of messaging that opens the door? Because we offer lead generation for our clients, and it is very hard to get lead generation to work for some of them. Some of them it's much easier. We have some amazing case studies. Month one, they've already sold 40% of their shipment. They've got 35 new clients in month three, like just amazing numbers. And other clients, it's like, no, there's no numbers, there's no numbers. But I mean, like we don't control the whole sale. That's, I think we discussed in your podcast. What in your view for in the B2B lead generation space is key for success?
So the B2B that I particularly work in is a very long sales cycle. We're talking like
Mm.
5 to 10 years, literally.
Well,
So it's incredibly hard to assign that this particular lead has been created by this particular activity. I think for me, the big thing about being successful in B2B is having the strategy and sticking to the strategy for a long time.
mm,
Um, we get so much data and so much you know points of numbers that come at us that go up and down, that literally day by day you might be thinking, oh, I need to completely change what we're doing. We need to suddenly pivot to like a full-on ABM strategy, or no, now it's email. Like we have to get our email stuff right, or
yes, yes,
whatever it
yes,
is.
yes, yeah.
But especially for longer form B2B, which I think, even most B2B there is a longer sales
Mm,
cycle. You've got to stay the course for a while. I'm not saying that you
mm,
shouldn't shift and adapt, but your fundamental strategies you need to spend a lot of time getting those right,
mm.
and then you can spend a lot of time sticking to them before you jump ship and suddenly start to change. I think
I
it's
completely agree.
yeah, I think it messes up your team, that you're
Totally.
working on if
When a
people don't
client
know.
panics and goes like,
Yes.
it's not working, and we're like, get out of the numbers, get out of our faces. It's only the second week. You're causing my team to have panic.
The spiral
And
out of control.
no one can think in panic state, like, please just
No,
back.
that's the
We know what we're
wrong
doing. We
wrong
need
time.
3 months at least to start getting this thing working and
Well, and
optimized. And
this is kind of what we spoke about on with in my podcast is that you guys do a month of just onboarding, of
yeah,
just getting the
yeah, yeah,
process going,
yeah.
getting the wheels turning. But I do think that it's a case of also realizing that a lot of these measures take time to
Mm,
start building
yeah,
momentum. And if you're constantly building momentum and as things are about to get going, you switch, you're going
yes.
to start to think, wait a second, we are working our asses off
Mm,
and we're getting nowhere. Maybe marketing isn't worth what we're doing. It's like, well, no, it's not that marketing in general is
exactly.
bad. It's that you're not using it
Exactly.
effectively.
I 100% agree with you. If you're going in one direction, it's strategy 101. You're going in one direction. Now you tell your army, no, go in this direction. Then you tell your army, no, go in this direction. And literally, the men have literally just finished digging the fresh trenches and you're moving them. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you need to step back and have a real strategic goal game plan and break that down into sort of a tactical monthly deliverable plan and then stick
Yes.
to the damn thing. I mean, obviously with a few modifications, but that's my big thing is there's no silver bullet in digital marketing, in marketing. It's a big, long, hard schlep of working very hard to get everything to work together. And then you finally get there. And it takes
Yeah.
time. It really
It does
takes time.
take
So
time.
it speaks to getting the right client who's committed to marketing, who believes in marketing, and not taking on the clients that are struggling and actually don't believe in marketing because it's a poison
Yeah.
chalice. And I'm speaking
Yeah,
to
and I
myself.
think I mean so you're heading up an agency, so this is particularly scary for you because that would
Yeah.
affect your reputation, right?
A
Because
hundred percent. A hundred
the
percent right.
next
Yeah.
then suddenly it's like, well, actually shift one isn't able
It's a
to achieve these
hundred
goals.
percent right. We lost a client a couple of months ago, and the marketing manager convinced the entire board they needed marketing. And then the board, nobody thought that marketing was the right way to go. And we worked for a couple of months, and we were getting hammered all the day long about, like not this, not this, not I don't know. Anyway, it was a nightmare. And eventually they turned around and said, no, it didn't work for us. And I'm like,
You didn't work for you. You didn't work
yeah.
for you. But this is also
Actually,
why,
it was my mistake. I should never have said yes.
well, in hindsight, I mean, hindsight is 2020. But this is also why I think from a successful for a successful B2B strategy to work, the organization that's doing the marketing, the actual company that's doing the selling, needs to have a strong marketing presence in the boardroom, right next to your
Ooh,
CFO, right next to your
yes,
CTO. You need to have a
yes,
CMO who has the ability to
yes.
tell the CFO, calm down. I know
And
we're spending a lot
to
of money,
hold the
but we've got it
ground,
to hold the
hold,
ground. Yeah,
hold.
to represent this to represent
Yes,
because if you're a marketing manager talking to the CEO, or even sometimes when you're not the marketing manager, you're the specialist
yes.
just doing the work, you don't have the ability to walk into the boardroom and tell them what the deal is and why they should be spending all this money that they're spending. So having good representation in the boardroom
I think you're
fairly
right.
early on is
Yeah,
important.
I think you're right. I think that's the problem is you've got companies that are either led by an accountant, a CA, or maybe a techie person, very rarely by a marketer.
Yeah. Unless you're a marketing agency, in which case,
Yes,
lucky you.
exactly. I had a very good talk with Nikki Cocroft back in the day. You speak of like speaking with amazing people, you need to get hold of Nikki Cocroft. And she was saying CEOs should be marketers because they understand way more about the complexity of business and all the different permutations than just a CA who just comes at it from a numbers point of view. But yeah, that's my pitch for marketing in the boardroom. Terence, it's been amazing speaking to you as always. I just want to thank you for your time and your wisdom. And guys, please follow Terence. And yeah, I hope to be speaking to you again soon. Thanks, everybody.
Dylan,
Have a
please
great
let's do this
day.
again. Can I have you on my podcast again for the next season? Can I book you in now?
I, I,
I want to
I
do it
would
live
love
in this
to.
podcast, so you can't say no when I ask you.
I'm there like a bear. And don't give
Brilliant.
me the questions. I don't want to prepare. I want to just be like
Your
terrified and
team asked me for the
sweat.
question. Your team's asked me for the questions, and I said I normally don't, but for Dylan I will. But
Oh,
next
you're so
time
sweet. Next
I'm
time, no,
going to
don't.
I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah,
to hit you with some big hard ones.
we'll have that stress energy, just like that cold sweat breaking out.
Yes, the big news headline the next day will be like,
Yeah.
Dylan Kolstad says this amazing thing about marketing and the podcast.
Yeah, I'll be like, was it live? Can we edit that thing?
Thanks so much for having me on, Dylan. I really appreciate this.
Terence, you're amazing. It's lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much. And thanks everybody for joining us.